You may close your eyes and prepare your body for a guided meditation. Your eyes are gently closed. You stop seeing. Imagine that all other sense doors are also closed, including imagining things, not by force, but by understanding that there is nothing outside needs your attention. Allow them to come and go, and you don't serve tea to any of these visitors. It's like a city center where people come and go without leaving a footprint. When everything begins to calm down, you may notice your body is breathing normally. Your attention may go to that one thing that is moving. You may still take a moment to relax your body, your shoulders relax, your back is relaxed, sitting bones relax, and your mind relax. To relax your mind further, you apply mindfulness as you breathe in and breathe out. And that means you notice the beginning, starting point of your breath and the ending of your breath. And you also notice the feelings, sensation of your breath touching your skin through your nostrils and that continuous flow. Mindfully you breathe in, mindfully you breathe out. This may feel like a lot of doing, but when you find the rhythm of your breath, you are just being with it. And attention may go simply to noticing your breath touching your skin. To take a different route, we may also add this other exercise to notice long or short breaths as they happen. Inhaling or exhaling, long or short. You are simply aware of your inhaling and exhaling as they happen. To go a step further, you may now notice the rhythm of your breath body, shoulders moving along with your breath. This rhythmic pattern is so noticeable as you stay still in your body with your attention inwardly directed. With loving kindness to this body, we may just continue breathing in, tranquilizing the bodily formations that includes in-breath and out-breath. Attention to the body slowly disappears. As the body calms down, notice the light around us, moving away from the body to the mind and expanding our awareness to the radiant light outside of us. With that noticeable light, we radiate positive, loving kindness. We have the intention to do so in all directions, starting from your being. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be safe. All visible and invisible beings, near and far away, known to me and not known to me, those beings who are perpetually hungry, those beings with excess amount of food but unable to eat, those moderate eaters, carnivorous and not, microscopic beings, beings in other galaxies, mighty beings with mighty awareness. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be well and happy. Now you stay quietly until you hear the gong, and we will end this guided meditation there. So for teachings part, just there is a short teaching. This is from the Dhammapada. Dhammapada is the handbook of Buddhists. It has verses of the teachings given by the Buddha on various occasions. And for today's teaching, we will take number 40. And I would translate the meaning first. Knowing that this body is fragile like an earthen jar, making one's mind secure like a fortified town, one should fight the evil with the weapon of knowledge. After defeating the evil, one should still continue to guard one's mind and feel no attachment to that which has been gained. And the Pali goes as Kumbhupamam kayamimam viditva nagarupam cittamidam thapetva yodhetha maram panna yodhena jitanca rakkhe anivesano. And there's a little story behind this. While residing at the Jetavana monastery, the Buddha uttered verse 40 of this book with reference to 500 monks. These 500 monks from Savatthi, after obtaining an object of meditation from the Buddha, traveled for a distance of 100 yojanas. So yojana is a long distance actually. A measure of length about 12 miles. One yojana is 12 miles. So 100 is about 1200. It was away from Savatthi and came to a large forest grove, suitable place for meditation practices. The guardian spirit of the trees dwelling in that forest thought that if those monks were staying in the forest, it would not be proper for them to live with their families in the trees. So just imagine these guardian spirits living in trees. So it's like angels. So they descended from the trees, thinking that monks would stop there only for one night. But the monks were still there at the end of the fortnight. Then it occurred to them that monks might be staying there till the end of the rainy season. In that case, they and their families would have to be living on the ground for a long time. So they decided to frighten away the monks by making ghostly sounds and frightful apparitions. They showed up with bodies without heads and with heads without bodies. Just don't try to imagine all that. The monks were very upset and left the place and returned to the Buddha. On hearing their story, the Buddha told them that this had happened because previously they went without any weapon and that they should go back there armed with a suitable weapon. Having said that, the Buddha taught them the weapon of loving kindness, beginning with this teaching. Monks were instructed to recite this time to time in the forest and enter the monastery and practice meditation. And these guardian spirits of trees received this powerful loving kindness from the monks and they reciprocated by welcoming them and not harming the monks. With that, ghostly sounds disappeared and the sights of ghosts also disappeared. Thus, the forest became peaceful and monks were able to focus and meditate on the impermanent nature of the body. The Buddha, from his supernormal power, learned about the progress of the monks and sent forth his radiance, making them feel his presence. The Buddha said, monks, just as you have realized, the body is indeed impermanent. And then the Buddha stated further, knowing that this body is fragile, like a mud pot, making one's mind secure, like a well-secured town, one should fight the evil with the weapon of wisdom, knowledge and wisdom, and continue guarding one's mind so that no harm comes your way. At the end of this teaching, all the 500 monks purified their minds from defilements. Okay, that is the reading and what stood out for you, if you remember any of that. Have you heard anything like this before?
I've heard a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess what sticks out, thriving loving kindness is a weapon.
Yeah.
Thought of
Right.
for serious I guess, yeah, it's kind of something that cuts through something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. With the weapon, we have a specific purpose, but this weapon cuts through anger. I would think that that is one way to look at it. Also, now that monks are monks, that they cannot use actual weapons, right? Like when we are on arms round, begging for food, you must have seen monks maybe in Myanmar begging for food, and sometimes really nasty people try to tease us, They don't know what they're doing. And if about 500 monks went into a fight with these people, it will be very chaotic. And this is not what the Buddha intended, right? He did not want any monk to, because these monks also are human beings, that they may start a fight and it will be a huge war. But instead, also sometimes in the village or towns, sometimes dogs who protect farms, dogs who protect houses can come toward us. And we don't have any way to protect ourselves. All we have is loving kindness and completely rely on that. But loving kindness also means that you don't put yourself in unprotected or insecure, how do I say it, like in forests where there are wild elephants, and that you get killed because of your lack of awareness of the surroundings. So the Buddha says, avoid those places, and the only safe weapon that you can use, especially when someone angry is talking to you, is to be, loving to that person. That person is needing that love. So loving and, instead of fighting or arguing. So with that friendliness that you are showing, maybe that person calms down and will not continue to bother you. but you never know. Also looking at one's own mind, even when your body is being harmed, so that your mind is protected. And that links with the concept of being born again. In case your body is no more with you, if somebody goes to that extreme and you still have loving kindness in your mind, your future birth will be very pleasant in a heavenly abode. So that is also there. And those stories are found in the teaching, that hate crimes happen, but you have loving kindness as inevitable happening and you can't escape that place. But then they radiate loving kindness to whoever is doing it. They mostly know who is doing it. Many enemies were friends before they became enemies. Or now you call them frenemies. And that you radiate loving kindness, send loving kindness to them. So you protect your mind. And that at the end of that inevitable death, you are born in a thapetva heaven or any place where there is happiness. Much better than that person's state of mind. Yeah. It's difficult. In one of the teachings in Majjhima Nikaya 41, 21, I think. It's about the simile of the soul. Buddha gives an extreme example, simile, that says that if somebody cuts your body with a large saw, those big saws they use for cutting large trees, the Buddha said, even then, don't think bad about that person. It's so hard, right? But it shows how important it is to protect your mind from visiting defilements. I would say visiting defilements. It's nothing outside can harm us when we have right weapons, right kind of care, right kind of security, good walls built that they don't get. It's like a roof that is well thatched, that no rain gets into the floors to your walls, so that you get good, peaceful abiding in that place. It's like that. So I think the idea of weapon definitely came maybe from commentaries. They wrote them. The Buddha may not have used that word. So we need to also not think that everything we see in these stories are true. But the Buddha has said things like, well, don't cut the trees, but kill the forest, and that may make somebody think that, oh, he's telling to destroy the forest, but the Buddha is talking about forest of defilements. But that's not the best example. I was trying to. There's a story called Puttamanta Sutta. In it, these two parents are crossing a desert, and they only have very last stretch, and they have a child. They don't have any food. And it says that to survive the last stretch, unwillingly they had to kill the child. And it says that the Buddha asked the intention of these parents. And intention is to fill the bodies, fill the tummies, not to kill the, it's a very delicate place to think, how can you think like that, right? How intention matters. Um, so yeah, there are stories like that. That says it's like this hunter's wife who was there till she was supporting the hunter, and the Buddha saying, although she supported the hunter, her intention was to support the husband, not to kill animals. So linking that with that previous story, the intention was to feed their bodies, not to kill the child. So it's a very delicate subject. So only a Buddha can explain that to a normal human being. And the other, in that hunter story, the Buddha said, if you don't have a wound in your hand, you can touch poison, and poison won't enter your body. Same way, like that hunter's wife didn't have any bad intention that my husband will take these bows and kill animals. She did not want to do any killing. The Buddha said she has entered the path. She never will have any of those intentions. So it's a very interesting path. It is also, maybe we can link that with the story of the serial killer. I was not intending to speak all these things. Who was freed at the end in the teachings of the Buddha, saying that he did all those killings misguided by his teacher, but now he's a Buddhist monk and he's free from all those killings. And that guy, his name is Angulimala, did all the meditation and became an arahant. That is the purest state of being. But people did not forgive him. They threw stones at him when he went begging for food. That is his karma. But in the teachings, there is forgiveness for them. That it's never too late for you to become a good person. So no person is forever a bad person. And that is maybe perhaps the power of understanding that loving kindness is very harmless but powerful weapon. And bodies are fragile, that we can kill somebody, but the damage of it will last longer. If instead one can resort to loving kindness, it will be a very different outcome and has more benefit to the giver more than to the receiver. It's like, seeing the danger of anger, like you keep something burning in your hand and wanting somebody else to get burnt. It never happens that way. Or drinking poison and wanting somebody else to get hurt. It doesn't work that way. So I think that wisdom also helps us to see how important it is to have loving kindness, to avoid certain people, situations, and live a peaceful life. We can easily get anger to harm ourselves and others. That's the easy way. The difficult way is to, like the Buddha said, this will be the last thing I say, I will not go on, that loving kindness, even for a moment of snapping your fingers, benefits the being than not having any loving kindness. Anything else you want to bring up?
I mean, there are a few, I've heard many small little excerpts that I haven't heard the full pieces for. And this may be for now or another time.
Yeah.
Very close by. But I know there's one about anger. It's poison source and honey tip. Not sure. That's one English translation.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how the whole thing goes.
Yeah.
I've heard that excerpt, and I've heard also one where the Buddha is speaking about meditating on death, and with every breath is the right teaching. And that's also one that I found interesting to practice.
Meditation?
The one where it's like letting go. If this was your last, basically I pray with you, this is my last breath. And you find it, you enjoy more present and let go. So those are two which I'm curious to revisit at some point.
Yeah, so we do have I think that is on Friday night, Bhante Samhita leads meditation on death, recollection of death. It's either Friday or Monday, one of those. So, except last Monday, that's the day I gave a talk here. But that reminded me of the other quote that comes to my mind time to time, that death is as close as your breath. That before you even finish your in-breath, you may die. That's how monks are trained to think. And that it is reflection that we should reflect upon continuously, like very often. The honeyed tip, what's the other thing? Honeyed tip. Poison swords, yeah. It's, I think, definitely a teaching that I have heard. It will be interesting to explore and find out more about it. But yeah, I will be looking forward. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for bringing those up. And also we will, now that you live nearby, you're welcome to sit with us and become a regular. Yeah, let's transfer merits before we end the session. May the suffering ones be suffering free and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.